very quick video which features Kapil and our co-founder Pranav Saxena.
WorldGrad is transforming overseas education as a leading platform for online T&E programs. We leverage digital learning to deliver a part of the overseas degree in country. This makes the overseas education more affordable while preserving the overseas academic experience for the student. With a unique two-tier teaching model, our students are taught by experienced overseas academics and supported by online facilitators for problem solving and tutoring via one-on-one sessions using our proprietary technology platform, LinkTrack. We are proud to have supported hundreds of students realize their education dreams at one of our 40-plus university partners. Hear what our partner has to say.
Hello, my name is Kapil Dandekar. I'm the Associate Dean for Enrollment Management and Graduate Education in the College of Engineering. I'm also a Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering. I've been at Drexel for over 20 years, and I'm very glad to have a chance to tell you about our partnership with the WorldGrad. I helped create our Master of Science degree in cybersecurity, and the purpose of this program was to provide deeply technical training to students to help them combat emerging cyber threats. Drexel Engineering is very proud to be working with the WorldGrad to offer this pathway to students through the All-American program. At Drexel, students benefit from a combination of theory, simulation, and hands-on laboratory classes. For example, one of the exciting classes offered in this curriculum is a software-defined radio laboratory class, where students use software-defined radios as part of a competition where they can see who can transmit data the fastest in the face of an adversarial jammer who's trying to disrupt their communications. We also offer exciting classes in multimedia forensics, secure computing, secure networking, and web security. Drexel is an R1 research-intensive university located on the east coast of the United States in the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are welcoming to populations from all over the world. Drexel is very excited to be working with the WorldGrad through the All-American program to offer this pathway to the MS in cybersecurity. I hope this overview gives you a sense of Drexel's cybersecurity program. We can't wait to see you on campus and prepare you for success in this critical field.
90% of our students progress to overseas studies, thus validating the effectiveness of our programs. Hear what one of our students has to say.
The All-American Graduate Program changed the entire journey and my experience of the study abroad. This program is well suited for the working professionals and even students because it enables you to take up a few credits when you are already in India. This helps into the smooth transition that you can start your abroad education while you are already in India and continuing to work. This made me very comfortable with the entire curriculum, entire process, and also let me know the university better and made me confident to fly to US and complete the degree. WorldGrad is also there to support into various other aspects, other operational aspects. So you do not need to worry about a lot of things. You can focus on your studies. They also help me into the visa application process.
Join us as we shape the future of education with the WorldGrad. WorldGrad is transforming
Yes, without thank you. And sorry about the tech issues. We seem to have some challenges with our. Yes, so here we are on the right side. So we have Kapil, Cookie, and Dr. with us, and obviously Sherry. I'll hand them over the session to them now to take this ahead. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, sounds great. Thank you very much. So let me start our presentation. So yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all. As mentioned in the video, you saw me there briefly. My name is Kapil Dandekar. I'm the Associate Dean for Enrollment Management and Grad Education at the College of Engineering and also a Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering. I was also one of the faculty members at Drexel who created the Cybersecurity program, the Master of Science Cybersecurity program at Drexel. That is the topic that we're recruiting for. So very happy to be joined with my colleagues to discuss the pathway that we have with the WorldGrad to our MS in Cybersecurity program. This is an overview of what we'll be discussing. I'll provide just a brief description of Drexel University as a whole and the College of Engineering in particular. I'll discuss in some detail the partnership that we have with the WorldGrad, how you'll be able to transfer credits in to our Master of Science program and get an accelerated pathway. Just to give you a general sense of how some of Drexel's research capabilities informs the great experiences you'll get in the classroom, we'll talk about some research that's related to laboratory-based coursework that's part of the degree program that we're promoting. We'll discuss career development resources and graduate cooperative education resources that are available at Drexel to help you with both a co-op and full-time job search. We'll discuss plans of study, outcomes of our students, and the application process and program costs. And as was mentioned earlier, we'll conclude the presentation with a Q&A session where we're happy to answer your questions. So Drexel is located in the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are an urban campus. We are what's called a R1 research intensive university. This is the highest level of research activity. And this is something that's relatively rare for private urban institutions. So this is something that we're quite proud of. What this means for you as students is that our faculty are leaders in their respective disciplines, and you'll get access to top-notch facilities, in this case, in the form of laboratory-based coursework that you wouldn't get going to other universities. Drexel is also known for our history of cooperative education that allows students the option to pursue a 6-month work experience as part of the MS degree program, and we'll discuss plans of study that both include and don't include cooperative education, but this is something that Drexel has been historically known for. And finally, while Drexel is a comprehensive university, engineering really is the flagship school, and we definitely welcome the chance to have you in our programs. As I mentioned, Drexel is located in the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia is on the east coast of the United States. Our campus is located 1 block away from 30th Street train station, which is a major transportation hub. So in addition to getting subway, bus, and trolley connectivity to other parts of Philadelphia, making it so you don't need to have a car, you can also hop on a train and be in New York City or Washington, D.C. in a couple of hours. So we are very convenient to major East Coast destinations. We are a major East Coast city. Philadelphia, though, unlike other cities, New York, Washington, and Boston, we have a lower cost of living than you might see in other major East Coast cities. So you get the urban experience without the same expense that you would see in other major cities. Philadelphia has consistently been ranked as a very great place for students to live and to work and to study. We are ranked very highly according to QS Top Universities in terms of best student cities in the United States. If you have any questions about Philadelphia and living in Philadelphia, please let us know. We'd be happy to either tell you about this or to get you in touch with a current student who can tell you more about what it's like being in Philadelphia. Drexel University is on the quarter system. So like other universities that have 16-week semesters, we have 4 10-week quarters where each quarter aligns with one of the seasons. We envision for the WorldGrad partnership that the majority of the students will enter in the fall quarter. This is the typical entry point for most of our programs. A winter class start is also possible, but spring and summer are not typically intake terms for our students. You can see what the application deadline is for students to apply for the fall deadline, but we realize also for students who have to get a visa and come to the United States, it's always best to apply as early as possible. So these are some details of the partnership that we have with WorldGrad. This is providing an academic pathway to the Drexel MS program in cybersecurity, specifically the engineering track. While there are other tracks in this program that exist, the pathways that we have through this partnership are not available to the computer science and information systems track of the MS cybersecurity. We are recruiting specifically for the engineering track of the MS cybersecurity. This track is for students who have a background or undergraduate degree in engineering or computer science. It's not designed for students with an information systems or information technology background. So again, we are a college of engineering. The College of Computing is a separate college at Drexel. So our emphasis is on recruiting students to an engineering related degree program with an engineering or computer science background. You can see that we'll accept up to 12 quarter credits of transfer from Tiffin University through this partnership. This application for the transfer of credits needs to be done along with your application. You'll need to work with us during the application process and work with your academic advisor to see how any of the classes listed on the right side table would map to your plan of study. And Professor Das works with our academic advisor and will be working with you to develop a plan of study that aligns with your background and interests. And he'll describe some sample plans of study in a few slides. Our Drexel MS program is typically 45 quarter credits. That's the complete degree, but with accepted 12 credits of transfer, then the program would then require 33 credits to be done at Drexel. Also, as part of the partnership, we have a negotiated 10% tuition discount for the credits that you'll take at Drexel. So we'll talk more about program costs in a later slide. When Professor Das is describing the plans of study for the students as you go through some sample plans of study, we'll discuss options that include and don't include cooperative education as part of the process. So research is really at the heart of the College of Engineering. I mentioned we're an R1 research intensive university. We have over 100 faculty involved in research, and we have a vibrant discovery and commercialization ecosystem. I'll just describe a couple of topics that are relevant to specific cybersecurity classes that are parts of the plans of study in this program. So we have a multimedia forensics laboratory, and this aligns with one of our graduate courses looking at multimedia forensics, specifically whether images or videos have been doctored to contain messages that were not originally intended. You can see pictures that were originally taken, how they were modified in some way, and then the use of machine learning approaches to analyze the images and telling whether or not they've been manipulated. And this is a tremendous concern for people working in cybersecurity when you're looking at assuring the quality of information, making sure that the source of information that you have is legitimate. And as I mentioned, this is part of the curriculum that Professor Das will describe later. Another class that I mentioned in the video, and I'll mention again, is a class that I teach that deals with software-defined radios. This class is a laboratory class. It's hands-on. Students will work in groups to access software-defined radios, which are really expensive pieces of equipment that allow general-purpose radio frequency hardware to be reprogrammed with software to act like different devices. And this is ideal for studying cybersecurity because you can consider, without being mired to existing protocols, what the effects are in terms of cybersecurity for different types of communication strategies. So you'll learn how to transmit real signals over the air using fundamental analog and digital communications. You'll use a full stack open source radio that we developed to explore the different layers of the protocol stack that's used in modern communication systems, looking at physical layer and MAC layer design, consider adaptive modulation. But then you'll consider very specific issues pertaining to security. Specifically in the class, we have what's called a radio wars project, where students will use the radios to transmit information and optimize them to see how much data they can transmit. But then they have to operate in the presence of a jammer that's trying to disrupt their communication. So in episode 4 of Radio Wars, the students will race their radios to see who can transmit data the fastest by optimizing their waveforms. In episode 5, the jammer strikes back. The TA and instructors will have a jammer that's in band with your transmitter, and you'll have to adapt your transmissions in order to convey information. And then in episode 6, Return of the Network, you'll have to get your links to coexist with one another and the jammer. So this is something that really is a unique course that's very specific to Drexel and prepares students very well to pursue careers in cybersecurity and telecommunications. As I mentioned, also Drexel is a cooperative education university. This allows you to get up to 6 months of practical work experience as part of the MS degree. It will obviously increase the amount of time that you're in the program, so we'll talk about timeline in a few slides. But in the fall term, students will enroll in a co-op 500 class that will teach you how to leverage various resources to conduct a job search for co-op. These skills can obviously also be used for a full-time job search. We have the Steinbrand Career Development Center that provides many different resources to help you in both a co-op and full-time job search. These co-op positions are paid and typically full-time, and you have an average salary of $1,000 per week for students who are able to get employment through the co-op program. And this provides a great way for you to earn money and gain professional experience as an engineer as part of your degree program. This is a list of various graduate co-op employers. It's not an exhaustive list, but you can see that our students work in with diverse areas. And certainly given the interdisciplinary implications of cybersecurity, there are opportunities in many different companies that are concerned with different issues pertaining to cybersecurity. This is what our MS program timeline looks like, both with and without co-op. To complete the 33 credits, again, assuming 12 credits of transfer through the WorldGrad partnership. Without a co-op, you'd be able to finish the program in under a year, with 9 quarter credits, which is full-time enrollment for students in the fall, winter, and spring of the first year, with a graduation in the summer quarter of the first year. With a co-op, aligned with our fall-winter co-op cycle, you can see what the schedule is to get the same 33 credits, but then also build in time for a cooperative education experience. And if you aren't able to get a co-op job, it isn't a placement, it is something that's employment and employer-driven. You can switch from the co-op program to the non-co-op program. So I'm going to hand it over now soon to Professor Das to discuss the various plans of study. These presented plans are meant to be representative. We are still quite far away from when the classes will actually be offered, but these are subject to course and instructor availability for when the program launches. So this is our best attempt at coming up with typical plans of study, so you can see the kind of classes you'll be taking. The actual plans of study will need to be discussed with your academic advisor. Based upon your transfer credit evaluation, we will accept the transfer credits, but they may count in different ways towards your program. So you'll need to work closely with your academic advisor on that front. There are some courses in red that are offered by our College of Computing and Informatics. Since we are a separate college, the enrollment of these courses aren't guaranteed, but we have equivalent courses within the College of Engineering that can be taken as needed. But the next few slides that Professor Das will go through will discuss what these sample plans of study look like. So Professor Das.
Thank you, Kapil. Hi, everyone. My name is Anup Das. I'm an associate professor at Electrical and Computer Engineering. I'm also the associate department head for graduate affairs, which means that when you join this department, you will be working with me to finalize your plan of study and then get enrolled into these classes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some sample plans that we created for our cybersecurity program. And as you recollect, as Kapil also indicated, these plans are mainly meant for students with the engineering background and also students with the computer science background. So what you are seeing over here is one sample plan where students enter in the fall and then finish the degree in the following summer. So this is a 4-course wide, and again, because of the heavy course load for these graduate courses, we only allow students to take 3 courses per quarter. So as you can see over here on the left, on the first column, you'll see the courses that you will be taking during the fall, which includes Principles of Cybersecurity, Introduction to Programming, and then Systems Basic. So the courses which are indicated with red are offered from College of Computing and Informatics, which is a separate college. So I have indicated the courses in red. And then when you go to the winter quarter, you will take courses like data structures and algorithms, information assurance, and information policy and ethics. Once you complete these 6 courses that you see on this course, you'll be switched over to some of the more advanced security-oriented courses. This includes one of the famous courses that we in our department, which is Multimedia Forensic and Security, which Kapil also indicated. And then you have another course like Software-Defined Radio, which Kapil teaches this course. And then you will take a fault-tolerant systems where you will be taught on how fault-based injection or fault injections into a system can lead to security vulnerabilities. You will be also exposed to side channel attacks and so on and so forth in this course. Then going on into the summer, you will take a machine learning course, which is applied machine learning, where you will be applying machine learning to solve some critical application areas. And then you will also learn about fundamentals of computer vision. So with that, you will be completing a total of 33 credits as indicated in this slide. So Kapil, if you go to the next slide. For the winter start, the courses are also going to be similar, except that the courses are distributed because you don't have a fall start. So some of the required courses has to be moved and spread across. So you will see the same 6 courses that you were taking for the fall start, but this time you'll be doing it from a winter start with one of the course, which is information assurance, to be taken in the summer. Rest all the courses that were indicated in the previous slide are also here on for the winter slide. Kapil, next slide. Thank you. In case you want to take a co-op, the situation changes slightly. As you can see here, you have fall, winter, and spring terms where you are taking 3 courses each. Then you have a vacation term, and then you go on co-op, which is in fall and winter of the following year. And then you come back to campus and finish up 2 more courses in the spring, and that's what completes your degree program. Now, you see there is one course that is mentioned here in the fall, which is Co-op 500. And Kapil indicated that to you also, that Co-op 500 is the course that you have to take in order to get placed into or qualify for the fall-winter co-op, which is shown in the next, in the following year. So there are also, as I said, most of the courses or the plans are very much consistent currently with all the other plans that you have seen that starts in the fall and winter. Here also you will take the similar set of courses with the 1 or 2 courses changes because of how the program is structured. And we can create a similar plan for the winter start, which is in the next slide. So for the winter start, you have a similar courses, but in this case, the Co-op 500, which is a 1 credit course, you will take in the following fall, and then in the next winter, you will go into taking only 2 courses, which is 6 credits, and then go on to co-op, which is in the spring and summer. Now, one thing I would like to mention here is that we typically require 3 courses as an international student in order to maintain full-time status, with the only exception being that you can go on less than full-time in your last quarter. So as you can see over here, your last academic quarter is the winter quarter, where you are taking only 2 courses. So that is the only exception that is granted by the International Student Office to take less than full-time. Again, full-time is 9 credit per quarter. So I think these are all the sample plans of study that we have. Again, these plans are subjected to change, and we have to work out with you on the exact transfer of credits based on which courses can these transfer credits be counted towards, and then we have to create individual plans of study with you. But that happens only once you get admitted, and then we start working with our academic advisor to create a plan of study that will work best for you.
Okay, sounds great. So thanks, Professor Das. So yeah, and I see some questions in the chat. We'll answer that in a minute, but when we get to application requirements. So, but yeah, please do enter your questions into the chat window. Be happy to answer them. Let's talk a little bit about career services that are available, not just for CPT co-op search, but also for full-time employment. So our Steinberg Career Development Center manages many resources. They'll help you prepare for a job interview. They'll critique your LinkedIn and social media profile. They'll critique your resume, help you with professional networking strategies, make various resources available to you, alumni databases, employer resources, career fairs, and essentially teach you how to do a job search and negotiate salary. So you know, we do very well in terms of having our students in both co-op and full-time employment. Talking about some of the outcomes of our students, you know, they do very well for themselves when they graduate. You know, they're either looking for work or continuing on further into graduate school. There are many resources that are available, Drexel Dragon Jobs, resources within the college and within the university to help you with the job search. In terms of long-term outcomes of our graduates, they do very well. You know, the vast majority are employed. Some of them continue to grad school. Those who participate in co-op, you know, at an appreciable percentage end up going to work for that full co-op employer as full-time. 92% of our graduates are satisfied overall with where they end up after our program. And they do very well in terms of not just starting salary, but also particularly in some of the programs we're discussing, but then also how they go through the workforce. You know, our students really do tend to be more mature when they graduate because they have that co-op experience. So let's talk about some of the application requirements, which I think might address one of the questions that are in the chat. We're looking for a completed application form. In general, for this program, we're looking for students who have a Bachelor of Science degree in engineering from a equivalent institution to an ABET institution in the United States. We're looking for a cumulative undergraduate GPA of 3.0 or above on a US 4.0 scale. While you can apply with unofficial transcripts to the program, in order to enroll in the program, we will need to have official transcripts for all universities or colleges that you might have attended. We recognize that some of you might be coming in from work experience after having been an undergraduate student. So if you want to get a letter of recommendation from one of your supervisors at work, in addition to or instead of instructor when you're in your undergraduate program, you can do that towards your 2 letters of recommendation. Looking for a resume in terms of standardized testing, because we recognize that all of the students have English as their primary language of instruction. There is no standardized English language testing requirement. We are also test optional for the GRE program, so you don't need to take the GRE to apply to this program. There is an essay that's required as part of the application. You've just discussed what your background and interests are in pursuing the program. Again, we are looking for students who have a good fit with background and interest in engineering. This is not a computer science or information systems program. And then, as Professor Das mentioned, we will work with you on the transfer credits. I showed earlier the table of classes that we will accept from Tiffin University through the WorldGrad partnership. But the credit transfer form is one that needs to be done in parallel with the application process. So you can work with us and our partners at WorldGrad to make sure that this paperwork gets submitted. Once accepted, you'll be notified electronically, and a formal mail will be sent to the student. You can see tuition costs and your Discover Drexel portal. You'll have to confirm your enrollment within 3 to 4 weeks and pay a deposit in order to confirm to our program. This deposit is allowable towards your tuition costs. And then once you confirm, that will trigger the I-20 process, which will help you with your initiate the visa process. In terms of the cost of the program, I mentioned that our MS programs are 45 quarter credits with 12 quarter credits of transfer. That's 33 credits that you would be taking with us. Our per credit tuition rate is typically $1,300 with the 10% discount for WorldGrad. It's $1,200 per credit. So you can use this and the timeline information that we presented in the plans of study to come up with some estimated program costs for the tuition that would be necessary for Drexel. All right. So if anyone has any questions about this, are happy to answer any questions that you might have. And here's some email addresses that you could use to get in touch with us. So with that, I'll maybe take a pause and maybe ask Sherry and Cookie and Professor Das to help me go through the questions. So I think I mentioned the academic score. I don't know if anyone wants to mention that, that you need to have a 3.0 GPA on a US 4.0 scale. That is typically what we're looking for. I don't know if anyone, Sherry or Professor Das, would like to say anything more about that.
Right. So in addition to 3.0 GPA, we do look at the full profile while making a decision, because sometimes it may be a lower than 3.0 GPA, but other credentials are very good. So we do take into account those factors in order to make an admission decision.
There's a question. Sherry, did you want to add something? I saw you starting to speak as well.
No, I think it was covered. Just 3.0 is our minimum, is the only thing I wanted to point out, right? So that's at the lower end. So if you're below a 3.0 and you're not certain, I encourage you to submit your application, but because we'll look at all of the documents to make a decision.
There's a question about the typical class size at Drexel. Professor Dawson might ask you to help with that as well. I know that where some of the specialized classes, it can be between 10 to 20 people. Some of the introductory classes might be a bit larger, but if you'd like to provide more information there.
Right. So if you look at some of the specialized courses, as Kapil rightly mentioned, some of the specialized courses will be between 10 to 20. And some of the introductory courses, like when you go into introduction CS courses, the CS 501, 502, which you saw in the slides, those will be a little bit higher, maybe around 40 to 50 students in the class, but they are distributed into different sections. So you will always have dedicated faculty members teaching those sections, small sections at a time. Even though the class size may be larger, the sections may be smaller. So you will always have, we always tend to maintain the student to faculty ratio.
There's a question about the OPT. You said OTP, but I believe you mean OPT duration. Although I saw Cookie, I think you might have been answering that question anyone like to answer that about how good OPT is?
Yes, so students who have a STEM background major, they can initially get 12 months OPT, but the optional practical training. And if you can extend your employment, you can also extend additional 24 months after the initial 12 months of OPT. Yeah.
Thanks, Cookie. There's a question about whether WES evaluation is required. We do not require WES evaluation to apply for our program. If you have one, that will accelerate the processing of your application, but there's no need to get one if you don't already have it for this. The acceptance rate at Drexel, Sherry, do you want to take that one?
So that's a little bit of a complicated question because there's an acceptance rate measured at the undergrad level. There's an acceptance rate measured for the College of Engineering graduate programs, and they differ by type of program. So for the PhD programs, we have a very low acceptance rate, and for the master's programs, it's closer to, I think historically about 50%, which sounds high, but it's really pretty good considering, we don't get, 20,000 applications. We really, kind of receive applications from a smaller market share. So for graduate master's programs, around 50%, the university measures everything undergraduate. So I don't know if that's a good way to measure selectivity here.
All right, there's a question about accommodations. There are options to live on campus. There's no requirement to live on campus. If you want to live on campus, you certainly can. There is graduate housing available. I would say that many of our students do choose to live off campus. Philadelphia is a major city, and there are lots of housing opportunities that are available. There are various social media groups that you could use informally that aren't run by the university that you can use in order to find a roommate and find a living situation that works best for you. I don't know if Sherry Cookie you'd like to provide any more information or.
Yeah, I just put the link, residential life at Drexel page, the link. So please find out more information for housing options.
Okay, great. Thank you. How does the university help students to get a job? So our Steinbreit Career Development Center does have many resources that are available to help you with this. So they'll help you, prepare for interviews, write a resume, vet your resume. There are resources available, career fairs, alumni databases, so many different resources that are available to help you with both a full-time and co-op job search. Question about requirement from WES or IEE. I'm not sure what IEE is, but WES, I believe we answered previously about not requiring formal transcript evaluation process. Are there any scholarships or financial aid available for international students? So there is a tuition discount that's negotiated as part of the partnership. That's 10% of the tuition cost. There's also a substantial cost savings in participating in this program compared to our traditional paths and the transfer credit that's being provided. Are there research opportunities available for students in the program? We did not discuss, the possibility of students doing a thesis. It might be a little bit challenging to do a thesis for students on kind of the abbreviated timeline in this program. Having said that, if you're determined to do research, it is possible to apply some research credits, as part of a plan of study, and you can talk with faculty members about getting that kind of experience and including it as part of the program. But if the question is about research assistantships, these are not typically provided to master's students. They're typically reserved for PhD applicants. All right, I believe we answered the question about OPT. I think I answered the question about research opportunities. what resources are available to help international students adjust to life in a new country. We do have various student handbooks available from our graduate college, as well as from our International Student and Scholar Services Office that provide various resources available to students who are making the transition to Drexel graduate programs and to studying in the United States. Drexel Graduate College has resources, the College of Engineering has resources, and our ISSS has a handbook that you can use. Sherry or Cookie, I don't know if you'd like to provide any additional information on that.
Yeah, you're correct. So graduate college also provides some pre-arrival information as well as the ISSS. And I just share the note of the book with you.
Okay, thanks. There's a question about CGPA on a scale of 10. We do part of the transcript evaluation process on our side is to translate that to a US 4.0 scale. I don't know if Sherry or Cookie, you have any information about how exactly that's done, or Professor Toss, if you know about the translation from a score on a 10-point scale. I don't know the answer to that.
No,
Yeah, so
I don't know the answer exactly either, but there are online conversion tools that you can use, and our central enrollment office does the work of transcribing the coursework and assigning a value to, from the 10-point and converting it to the 4.0 scale. So online tools should be fine in giving you an estimate, and then our central office will confirm.
Yes, we can help the students do that. So if anybody has a question, they can reach out to the counselor at the WorldGrad, and they would help them with the conversion of the CGPA into GPA.
Someone asked to have the fee page shared again. So this is the first part of it that sets it up, 45 quarter credits with 12 credits of approved transfer. It can go down to 33. You can see the per credit rate of 1208 with a student fee per quarter of enrollment of 280. So you can see how that would then translate to the program costs using this slide. So that's, I believe, what you asked to be reshared. How good is it to stay in Philadelphia during the winters? Well, I guess I've been there for 20 years. Sherry, well, I don't know if anyone wants to answer that. I mean, I find Philadelphia to be great. We're not so far north that we get a ton of snow. We're not too far south that isn't extremely hot. So it's pretty moderate as the U.S. climate goes. I'd say historically, we used to get a lot of snow in the winters, not so much these days, I guess, although they are forecasting snow for this winter. We'll see if that actually happens. It does occasionally snow in Philadelphia. So if you've ever seen, or if you haven't seen snow yet, you will probably, or likely, see some snow, but not so much of it that it would bury your vehicle. So I think it's been quite a number of years since we had a major snowstorm. Anyone else want to add that?
We have lots of international students who have never seen snow, and they all seem to do completely fine with winter weather. It is colder than most people are used to, but I think with the proper coat, hat, and gloves and shoes, you'll be fine. And all of those things are on sale. Like, you can buy all of those items here, and they're affordable, so you wouldn't have to buy them ahead of time in advance. You can definitely purchase them here. And sometimes in our office, honestly, I'll even pack up extra hats and gloves and things to help new students kind of get adjusted to some of the climate changes. But it's not too cold to go outside, and with the proper clothes, it's completely manageable and fine.
There's a question about campus facilities and resources at Drexel. So, it really, our campus is very nice. The buildings are, are good. I mean, they're continually being renovated. Some of the, cutting edge laboratories are being leveraged for courses in this program. So I think there are some great facilities there in terms of instructional spaces that you'll have access to. In terms of other facilities, you can choose to get a dining hall, pathway and eat in campus dining. But again, it is in the middle of a major city, and there are many food options, domestic and international options that are available. If you're a vegetarian, if you're a vegan, there are many options that you can consider. Around campus. So Philadelphia really is, a global city. We are welcoming to students from all and populations from all over the world. So there are many opportunities for you there. In terms of other campus resources, there are great library resources, computer labs, a good gym, for that and for sporting events. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything else about facilities, but I will leave it at that. How accessible are the professors for students? So professors, I think, are pretty accessible, especially now in the age of Zoom meetings. Many professors maintain either weekly office hours or are available by appointment to meet with students. There are also, for some classes, teaching assistants that you can go to get additional help in classes. But generally, if you're a student and you need help with something, you can reach out to a faculty member and either meet with you in office hours or make an appointment to meet with you. So we're always happy to support students however we can. What kind of scholarship is being offered by the university? So I did mention that on this slide. There's a 10% discount that's negotiated as part of the partnership. There's also substantial cost savings due to the transfer credit that you're bringing into our program. The salary package that students get after degree completion. This is obviously the average stats that I can show you on student salaries, but the average salary is $88,000, with some students reporting salaries as high as $100,000. Professor Das, I don't know if you want to say anything more about that. That's college, or that's ECE specific.
Right. I think these numbers are representative, and most of our ECE graduates or cybersecurity graduates will be typically around this or even higher than this, actually. Yeah. So the average numbers are representative at this time.
So then there's a question about food options for Indian students who are vegetarian or non-vegetarian. I think I mentioned that. If you're vegetarian, non-vegetarian, vegan, there are options for you around the city. Philadelphia is a major urban city. It's actually known for its restaurants. There are also food trucks that are available, some of which are quite good. I don't think students from India, I think, don't have any issues with this. Job placements have been done at a number of organizations. Can I name some? So this is a list of, I do have a list of some sample co-op employers. This is not an exhaustive list of our employers, obviously, but you see a diverse group of companies. I'll let Professor Das talk more about specific companies employing electrical and computer engineering graduates, but I can say generally that, students who work in cybersecurity, they might work in different types of companies all have different cybersecurity needs. Frankly, also we see interest in our students in the financial sector as well. A surprising number of our graduates end up in the financial sector, looking at, say, like developing machine learning techniques for detecting credit card fraud. I know I have a graduate who's working in that. I have graduates from my laboratory who work at Apple and Qualcomm and major telecommunication providers, students who are able to get green cards might end up working in the defense community. I don't know, Professor Das, if you'd like to add anything to that to employers.
Right. So there are quite a few, like whatever is shown in this slide, there are also quite a few other employers that regularly hire our students. Apple is one of them. Then you have Google, Microsoft. There are recently some students who have joined Google and Microsoft Teams to detect fake images from real image. So multimedia forensic is one of the hot topic on which a number of our students join companies, and also in the financial sectors, Fidelity and many other, and that regularly hire our employees. Now, one of the things that is interesting is that in Philadelphia, you have a lot of biotech companies. So there are a significant number of these companies hiring students to for cybersecurity in healthcares and so on and so forth. So there is a significant number of students that are joining in companies even locally and also around United States on the cybersecurity area.
Okay, I believe we answered all of the questions.
Yes, I think we've answered all of the questions.
Okay.
If the students have any other questions, your counselors will be in touch with you in the next couple of days. You could reach out to them and you could ask more questions, and then we will be happy to answer any more information that you would need. Thank you for your time, Kapil, Anup, and Kuki, for joining us today. It has been very informative and I believe very helpful for students. Anything else that you would like to add? We're towards the end of our session already.
No, we definitely thank you. We're looking for, we're very eager to get launch this partnership with Drexel and WorldGrad, and we look forward to seeing your applications, hearing from you, and hopefully seeing you on the campus starting in the fall. So thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.